welcome to the Crime Alley cast. I believe this is episode 22. Yeah,
I think so.
I am your host this evening, Mr. Zubaz, winner of the Yara Floor
Just
Siege.
jumping right in.
Yeah, right into that. All the way to my left, we have Joshuars, the world's finest and winner of the Batman Who Laughs Siege.
Yeah. How's it going?
Not with us tonight is DeBoy. He may make an appearance later, but DeBoy, also known as the winner of the Alan Scott Siege.
Yep.
And then next to me is Costly.
Thank you. I won Wraith. I won the Raven Wraith. Leave me alone.
Is he 25 times Siege participant? I think something like that, right?
Yeah.
I had to. Also, if you had your phone to your ear and you could hear everybody, we also have a special guest with us. And we'll explain why he's our special guest later. But we have M4, who's winner of a whole bunch of sieges. I'm not even going to list them. So welcome, M4.
Apparently, when you win too many sieges, you just don't get mentioned anymore. You just...
See, M4, you have the overflow problem. You've won too many. You're like, he's won some. You loses the credit of them.
I will say the credit we can get, the tag we can put underneath myself, because like winning the Raven Wraith isn't really a bragging point. I mean, there's a lot of people that haven't won Wraith in here, but I mean, I'm in the game, but I am a multiple time top 10 siege placer. There we go.
Okay, good.
That's a cute title, I think.
So thank you, Zubaz, for the intro. I really feel special. I think I'm the most frequent guest on this podcast.
I think this is your like fourth episode.
Yeah, I think I'm just second only to the boy.
Yeah.
That's the most frequent guest.
Nice.
This is either your third or second time. I can't remember which one. I want to say it's three. Third.
It's definitely at least two, and then I believe there was a third one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the third one because definitely Tournament of Legends and Siege. We had you on for when you won both of those, and now tonight. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into our first topic since we're on the topic. The Yara Floor Siege, and
there it is.
My little crown here. Yeah. So if you haven't heard, I'm the world's finest.
How does it feel?
It felt good, man. It felt really good. I am also retired from Siege. I'm never doing that again.
The first one is really special.
But it's so nerve-wracking. It's just so nerve-wracking. And I had TCL, also known as Rent Free, kind of nipping at my heels. I mean, it was I kind of led wire to wire, like day one. Well, with the exception, there was one person that passed me as world's finest on day one. Yeah. Because he may or may not have received some extra trophies.
What are they called?
Handsome trophies is I believe the community parlance for them. But yeah. So after that first day, I think I was world finest every day after that, pretty much. And it was just because it was a very easy siege. It was for me, the reason I did it, I had high level rebirth tunes going into the siege. I already had Aquaman at RB3, I had Deadman at RB5, and then I had Aquaman at RB5 as soon as I was able to after his week. So with those two alone, you could do a lot of work. So I liked the last siege. It's it's playing out a lot different than like this month or even the month before that. But I learned so much. I have already on M4's show and everywhere else. I have thanked sort of all the people that I do thank, including M4, including Joshuars, for kind of coaching me along with like how to play Siege. Like I was fine with the matches. I didn't lose a single match the entire siege. I think I lost 2, maybe 3 tunes total the entire siege. But it's all those little tricks about when to refresh your board, how many revenges to play, like that kind of stuff is stuff that I don't totally know. I pick it up from watching Josh's stream. But other than that, there are some tricks of the trade. So you learn from the best.
And
But it's fun.
It's one thing because like when you get the siege bonus tunes, you always hope you have the bonus tunes already geared up.
Right.
And it's one thing to have them geared up, and it's another thing to have them like you had Deadman RB5, your Aquaman's RB whatever. Like, and that's another good thing too, like having high RB tunes. But I think what takes it another step further is knowing and understanding how those tunes really work. Like
Right.
I can use Deadman. I get him, but you really understand Deadman. You really understand Aquaman. Where like if I'm in a match, I'm like, well, what am I gonna do here? Like it's another one thing to be unsure about what to do with this high level tune, and it's another when you're just a master of those tunes and you know exactly when you see a tricky situation developing, when you see something, you know what to do, and that's something you really had really good control of.
One of
when you
things
don't
that
have to read the kit.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I honestly, I think one of the biggest mistakes that I saw people making with Aquaman, which is I watched, a lot of people post videos in Discord and Line and stuff like that, is everybody is so quick to use his stun. And that was something that the old Aquaman, you almost did always want to use his stun kind of as quickly as possible. And I would very rarely use his stun because I would much prefer the turn meter and then the team turn meter that you could get from it. So I was constantly Deadman into Aquaman, turn up your team, and then I would do Aquaman basic again. And everybody would be like, well, why aren't you stunning Poison? I'd be like, because he's going to go again. And those are the things that when you've used the character so much, you start to learn, those little tricks.
And it's scary. It's scary to like not stun Poison because everyone knows that if she takes a turn, it could be just game over right there. So it's also very scary. But yeah, again, if you understand Aquaman so much, you know how the turn meter is. Like there's a feel for the tunes that you have when you play. Like everyone knows the tunes they play all the time. You got a good feel for them. When you get into a tricky situation, you know how to get out of it with those tunes, and that's a big one. Like,
I mean, one of the things in one of the matches that I was very unsure of, I asked for your advice on, Josh, and you gave me a Lex team. And I was like, I never use Lex. Like, I feel so uncomfortable going into this match with Lex. And I know that he's so basic and everybody uses him, but I just have generally just kind of avoided some of those like really big meta tunes for a long time. And so I did it and I understood it. And I was like, okay, great. I'm glad that worked. But I was sweating in that match more than like any other, even though I was safe the whole time because he's Lex.
And that just adds to it. That's that stress, the mental game of the siege.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but it's so stressful, and it's like a whole month where you have to absolutely play 30 PvP matches a day, basically 30 PvE matches a day.
Got to be right there at reset.
Set timers, waiting for reset. Making sure you're never capped out. All of those things. I was just like, I don't know how people do it every month. Like that's why I told M4. I was like, I give you all the credit in the world for doing this every single month.
Yeah, it's wild.
But but it is good, and it's good company. All the people that have won are really good players, so that made me happy. I got so many congratulations and stuff too, which is like just such a nice feeling.
You got a congratulations that no one else has gotten, and
that's true.
Well, I'll say this.
Like officially endorsed game congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, I did get sent a crown from WB. 78 pounds came in the mail, but I didn't get a congrats from Reeves. So
is the boy coming today? Because I think it's a special group. I mean, between the 5 of us, there's like 7 world's finest, right?
Something like that.
We are, between the 5 of us, we average more than 1 world's finest a person.
That is true.
The 5 of us.
If the boy was
here.
If the boy was, we're here. Yeah.
But
I mean, I gotta rate the world's finest.
I've never gotten one of those. How does it feel, Costly?
I've never had a rate.
I won during a week where nobody pushed. And I mean, look. it was still like pushing. Like Wraith isn't like this. I still had to play a lot of matches that week.
That's
like,
true. Yeah, you
Did
gotta
did you
buy
sweat
energy
your
all the
matches,
time, and
especially on the last day,
No,
Cosmo?
I didn't sweat any match at all. I just if I lost, I just went back in again. Like,
yeah,
Yeah. And this was to me, like, I know every siege is you sweat losing a tune, you get so nervous about every move you make. For this one in particular with Dr. Poison, and so many of the bonus tunes were blue, and just it was basically like diffusing a bomb every match. It was like if you made one wrong move, she was gonna go and blow up your entire team.
yeah.
Yes,
So
you
that
say
was
the siege is easy. You're selling yourself short. I mean, it's the same 3, 4 tunes that you use, right?
yeah.
But it doesn't always. There's no easy formula that if you do this, this is going to happen.
Right.
There's so many factors and variables. Is Aquaman going to be called twice by Deadman? Is it
is
going
he
to be
gonna
a
have
single?
mins?
Yeah.
Right.
Is he gonna have mens?
Like
And also, like if you're streaming or you're gonna get sabotaged by, you're gonna get egged on to use Doctor Poison and RB4 Spectre and
Yep. That
called
was
a
unfortunate
B.
to watch too.
Yeah, that you can. What's gonna happen then? Yeah, you're not gonna kill an RB4 Spectre.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, one of the things I learned too is like everybody is dealing with the same bugs, and so you have to learn them, and if you can, like exploit them. And I learned very early on about the Nubia bug from M4's stream.
I
Yeah.
learned it very much earlier than you.
Yeah, and it was, but then like once we realized like how it worked and how you could
Yes,
exploit that, all of a sudden you could use that to your advantage. Like
your
everybody was
advantage.
using
Yes.
Terra as protection for Dr. Poison, and it was like, okay, well now we can't stun, we can't do enrage, we can't, and but you could if
Yeah.
you were using Nubia. Like those kinds of things were really good to learn. Same thing with Yara Fleur when she came out, using her the right way. So all of those things, everybody's working with the same bugs, so you just have to learn them. Whoever won the siege that Spectre had, I guess that was TCL and stuff. I mean, that was a nightmare, that siege, but everybody was dealing with the same Spectre. So it's what you have to do, and it's going to be the same this month. We've got Nightwing has a bug, Supergirl has quasi bugs, Kyle and Necron both look bugged as well, and so you just got to learn them, roll with them, and see what you could do.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, I mean, I know I stream, but if I'm trying to do like something of a push in Siege, if I'm trying to go for top 10, like it's either me or M4, usually the only one streaming Siege primarily. And I make sure to watch M4 on those days, like because it's just another way to gain more experience from watching someone, and watching someone like M4 play. You can really see like the right best way to play, so that's always nice. So I always tell people, like, I feel like I'm promoting, but watch the streams like for Siege if you really want to do well, because we're like, again, M4, he discovered the Nubia bug. He did it, so now you don't have to. Like right. He lost a match, so now you don't have to lose that match, and things like that really, really help. And so
I mean, you see the same comps. It's like everybody is using a pretty small subset of tunes, and you may come into a comp, you're like, how do I deal with that? There's a pretty good chance that it's going to appear on one of those streams at some point.
My favorite is when I have a comp. Oh, sorry, I'm for us. My favorite is when I have a comp and someone goes, oh, I have that comp on my board too. And then I run through, be like, oh, here's how you do it for 18 points. And then they go, oh, I just did it for 18. And like, oh, like that's something I really enjoy happening when someone tells me that they watched what I did, was able to recreate it, and then get the win. What was it? So what were you saying?
Oh, you were promoting our streams because we are Siege-centric streamers.
Yes.
But you should watch everyone. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure.
There's more than one way to learn.
I
also learn from other people's mistakes. You could, so you don't repeat them, right? So you should really watch everyone and soak in all of the information. I mean, I watch all of the streamers as much as I can. I learn from them too.
Yeah, it is.
Not just from Josh.
So, even though I just got subtweeted live on this podcast, I'm just going to go ahead and also push further a promotion for M4's stream here, that on another subject we were talking about, there was like some of the bugs and stuff. Zubaz and M4 at the beginning of every month go through, or actually it's really the end of every month because that's when the reworks come out, but they go through and they just test out the new reworks and the new characters and see if they're bugged. Well, the new characters, most of the reworks, and then
reworks.
Right.
So it's like if you're ever looking for that, show up to M4 stream sometime around the end of the month when the new reworks come out. Normally the day they come out, and you'll be able to get on top.
The first day of raids, and it's like it's just a total like way to like you're zoning out. That day one alliance boss is always just awful and mindless and stuff, and so just zone out, play your raid, and watch us figure out all the way that the text differs from what appears on screen.
And the thing I'll say, I'm sure we're gonna get into it later with the reworks and everything, but how bugged this month is, there's a lot of people out there that just simply don't know that there's bugs. And it's there's a lot of people that they think certain characters are working as intended, and it's stuff that, but the one thing
every 3-4 days on Reddit we get a post that's like, oh, did you guys notice this? And it's like, yeah, we've known about that for 2 weeks now.
Right, because me and Zubas have joined the WB quality assurance team, so we tested for them like live. They just don't know it yet, but we work for them for free, so we try to
so I will to address the fact that I'm the only person on this podcast now that hasn't gotten a Siege World's Finest. I do want to go for one. I do want to go for one. It's probably gonna be the next character that I'm interested in, because that's one of my other problems too, is with the way that I've looked at it. I've pulled back on how much I spend on the game in general anyways. So for me, and I'm very busy with work, and so going into the winter I get not as busy, so that'll clear up a lot of space for me, because there's a lot of time where it's just like I'll get home from work, and like there's times where like people know I end up not streaming because I just get home super late. I'll go to bed, I'll wake up the next morning, I'll go right back to work, and then right around so the game resets at 5 o'clock for me. Right around 4:45, I go, crap, I haven't done anything on the game today. And then I'll rush through all my energy all at once, and I don't get my 27 PvP done, and it's just because of how busy I am. So
I'll say this: it would be really helpful for us as a podcast, because I don't know that there's any real podcast that can say like, "Hey, all of us have won World's Finest." It's certainly not Atlantis After Dark. I don't think it's exactly. WROL, they've got a bunch of has-beens, maybe some, but if we could have across the board World's Finest, but so costly, if you could maybe at the latest by January would be great. Okay.
I do. Wait,
if we get a back character in December or January, I'm for it. But if we don't, then
M4 has a question.
The next one you want is Bluebird.
Yeah, that's never happening though.
So okay.
If we get a good back character that it doesn't have to be a back character. I like a lot of different DC characters. It just has to be one I'm interested in. For me, like what I was talking about, when I've kind of reduced my spending on the game, I've found that I can be worry-free pretty much throughout the month, miss certain days on getting energy, still land top 60, and then through raids and the next month's Wraith get enough to L5 and be completely worry-free.
Oh yeah.
And my blood pressure's fine. I'm not stressed out.
Siege is the worst. It's not worth it. Siege.
That's why I said I'm retired. I'm never doing it again. Ever.
If anyone out there
I'm not
thinks
spending 40 whatever thousand gems.
42,000. If anyone out there thinks it's the prize for Siege it's not worth it at all.
No.
It's terrible and
and
costly. If you do push, I would you say I want to do it for a good tune. The tune doesn't matter. It's do if you see the bonus tunes and you have a good
that's the thing.
Okay, here's my chance.
Right. The next time Coda and Cassie are bonus tunes together, I'll go for it.
There you go.
I do love Yara, both as a character. I like her a lot in game, even though she's not particularly my play style. So I was excited to win her particular Siege, but it didn't matter. It was all just because of Aquaman and Deadman at the beginning of the month. So
I will actually, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out here, because way back when I threw out my whole I will RB5 spoiler and Cassandra when they come out, and I kept to my word and did it. So I'm going to go ahead and say here, if any Siege, it doesn't matter what they are, but if any Siege has 2 of my Rebirth 5s as bonus tunes, I don't care who the character is, I'll go for it.
All right.
Okay.
Like,
Speaking
it's,
of, speaking of, I guess this is a good point to transition. Speaking of having RB5 tunes, the new reworks out and costly. Oh damn it, we're doing Trigon raid next. Damn
Yeah,
it.
sorry.
Ah.
And we got another one before
I-
that too.
when you started
Wait,
going into
you
this,
just
I
wanted a
was like,
segue, which is fine.
I
That's a
wanted a
hard,
segue and I was gonna say, damn it,
not a
man.
smooth segue. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but let's quickly recap. Trigon
Remember
joined the
this
game.
moment right now.
Yeah.
And then I'll segue. Damn it.
We will. Trigon is here.
Trigon's here.
Trigon. I'll start with Costly. What did you think of Trigon?
he's annoying. And I was really annoyed on the last day. I'll just put it that way, because I don't push as fast as like Josh does. I know when Josh goes to talk about it, he's going to talk about how much he didn't do the last day's bosses. Those were primarily where my points came from, was the last day's bosses.
Terrible.
And so it was very annoying. So, but I mean, he looks really cool. Don't get me wrong. Like,
oh man,
he looks
great.
really cool. I'm excited to get another boss in, and that's great. Beyond that, though, like, he's another Superboy Prime, so it's just really annoying. Superboy Prime's the worst. But yeah.
Okay.
I thought his design is great. It's such a cool design. It's Trigon. I think a lot of people have been asking for Trigon. Like, if Trigon were ever to come to the game, he's gonna be a raid boss. Like, I think he was the most logical next, like, big bad, that can really go out there and, like, be worthy of a raid boss. And yeah, I think most people think, I don't think the Scarecrow raid is the hardest raid anymore. I think it's
not with Terra.
Yeah, it's easy. And Superboy Primes to me are now the hardest raids, because your go-to Darkseid Superman does not work at all. And I was talking about this stream, how many Superboy Primes do we see a year? Was it like 2 or 3?
2, I think.
Yeah, 2, okay. And now we're going to have Trigon. So now I bet you we're going to see Trigon about 2 more times, like, a year. So now we've doubled basically the Superboy Prime style bosses. Like, I wonder if this might become the new style of boss, where you can't debuff them, you can't do anything to them, and that'd be terrifying, because, like, it's hard enough against Superboy Prime. Like, I do okay against them, but it's definitely, you can't do your normal stuff, but they could, who knows? Like,
my prediction, I'm glad it didn't come true, but my prediction was going to be it was the opposite. That it's not that you can't debuff him, it's that he's going to clear all of your buffs. And so all those tunes with permanent buffs would become kind of useless again. I'm glad they didn't do that, but it's, I think everybody is kind of in agreement where it was like, okay, it's slightly disappointing. He only had 1 move, he only had 1 attack, but the art was so good. Both the screens with his picture on, that was really cool. But then also in game, his animation, it looked really good. The art was really good. So that was all fun. 1500 business as usual. Cleared our exact goal we wanted to. Nobody had any problems. Quick shout out. In the solo realm, though, we did have the 1500 won World's Finest in Raid, not just Siege, in Raid as well, which I don't know if we've ever had the same alliance have the Siege World's Finest and the Raid World's Finest in the same month. But shout out to Doomsday, right?
Yeah. Doomsday locked it down.
Yep.
So
Josh, did he actually use Doomsday?
He did use Doomsday. Because Doomsday, a lot of people discovered that he can do some work by himself, and it's he said he used them exclusively for the red boss, and then I forget what other boss he said but Doomsday. Yeah.
It was funny. When Josh posted that on Reddit, now I know that it made some waves in other areas, but I do also know that it got posted in Owl Chat. And somebody in Owl Chat basically was like, I feel like sometimes I read these things and they're propaganda. And there was like a couple owls, maybe 1 or 2, who were like
hooting away.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of anybody using Doomsday. Why would you use Doomsday? I will absolutely admit that there were a couple that were like, oh no, that makes sense. He has permanent buffs. I've just never tried it before.
Mm-hmm.
And then lo and behold, the first video on Reddit where somebody posts of maxing out on damage so that, you know, the damage bug kicked in was because it was an owl using Doomsday.
Yeah.
And so speaking of which, we do have M4 here. And congratulations, M4, on the Owls winning the Alliance raid again. That's the first time that you guys won? Not sure.
Not sure.
Is any insight? Was there any like interesting things happening over on in the court over there during raids this time around, or just kind of the same as usual?
Interesting. No, it's a lot of tapping. And Ballsy freaking out. I shouldn't say that. Nope. Ballsy is calm, collected. He never freaks out. He never freaks out. He is the epitome of like being calm and collected during raids. Sure. Could never ask for a better leader. One that you would just, you know, keep everyone steady and just row. Yeah. There you go. That's what Ballsy does.
Nice. Okay. Any interesting comps or anything that you guys were sitting on or anything like that?
Trying to remember. No, I think it's the usual suspects, the essential characters.
All right. Well, after we had raids, we had a much bigger event happened kind of the following weekend, which was the Tournament of Legends.
It's actually the middle of it.
Yeah. And now we did... we weren't sure if we were going to talk about this on this particular podcast or not. It was heavily debated about whether or not we should even acknowledge that it happened. But M4 is here, and what that means is we always invite the champion on to speak about the Tournament of Legends. Now, there was the possibility that we would not have had to invite anyone at all, that the champion would have been sitting here already. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So I don't know who wants to talk about it. I'll go over to you, Josh, not as a finalist, but you as kind of the creator, the founder, the host of the Tournament
the
of Legends.
behind all of this.
Exactly.
The most prestigious and
he's wiping his eyes. I can't tell if he's sweating or crying or tired. Or...
Just to add on to that, Josh, you know, how was the creation and how was it playing in it, you know, and
when I first created the tournament, like, did I think I would win? I thought I was going to win every single one. But I soon realized I couldn't make it out of the qualifying round. So it was really exciting this round. I switched up my strategy. I brought my big tunes day one. If anyone talked to me about it, I told them like I had a plan. Like I had a plan this time. I was actually practicing my Tournament of Legends like the month prior, like going in. I was thinking I need to find a good grouping of tunes that could help me carry me in each round, and I can go by group, round by round. And so I stuck to my plan. It worked. It got me there. But then I don't know if anyone noticed or not. I thought I kept it pretty close to the vest. I thought I kept a pretty good poker face, but I didn't really show any worry going into the finals. Like most people saw me and like, oh, Josh is like a rock. He's solid as a rock. Look at steady hands. But when you burn all your good tunes early, you're left with tunes that you don't normally use as much.
Yep.
And just like we were, Zubaz was saying in Siege, like it's a tune, you know, they're good, you know, they can do well, just you're not used to using them. And that's how I felt. And I felt like I was going to do extremely terrible in the finals. And this was my big fear going into the finals, that everyone was going to discover that I don't know how to play this game. Like I don't know what I'm doing when I'm playing. And so I did my run. Amanda was there with me. She was kind of being like my talked. If you watch the Tournament of Legends, you'll see my mouse moving back and forth. and I'm talking out loud. I tried to play it like I was streaming. I acted like I was streaming. I was talking because that's how I normally play my matches. And I was talking to Amanda and just like bouncing ideas off her. Not really bouncing off, just explaining. But when I finished my run, I felt like I kept asking people, and they kept saying, like, I would say, where do you think people, M4 and I are going to finish? And the common answer was, 85-15, 80, around the 80s with some losses, because both of our rosters were kind of, a little shaky. But when I finished 95-5, I thought I did it. I was like, that's it. I thought to myself, like, M4's not going to beat that. He's not. I said it. He's not going to beat it. I thought I won. And then who am I kidding?
Okay, well,
it's M4.
If you're listening and you have not picked up on it, and you haven't, because we didn't really do like a full recap of the tournament or anything. The tournament finals came down to Joshua's versus M4 in the finals. M4 was our defending champion. He made it all the way back to the final. Joshua's had never made it out of the qualifiers before, and he made it all the way to the final. And there were some big, nasty scores the entire tournament. There was a bunch of 80-0s, 79-1, 78-2s. So it was a major accomplishment to get that far. And in that final, which we streamed live, if I know that we've kind of spoiled the ending here, but it's still definitely worth it to go back and watch, because it was exciting the way it played out. The matches are really good. There's really good match play. But in the final, M4 went 96-4, and Joshua's went 95-5. So by one tune, M4 won the tournament. Congratulations, M4.
Yeah, congratulations.
What do you have to say about the Tournament of Legends?
The rules are really simple.
Here we go. He's coming out like swinging like this.
Here's the problem, Josh. I mean, I say the nicest things about you, and you just don't believe me. All right. Okay. But before the finals, I didn't even think I would make it to the finals. I played that. I think my best run was the semifinals. Like, I had no business winning.
Oh yeah,
as much as I did.
You had a very tough first board in your semifinals.
It was the worst board ever. Like, I was like squeezing my brain just to make things work, because like you actually planned much better than I did. I hate planning, you know that. I keep telling you that I don't want to plan.
Told me that 1,000 times, yeah.
That's the worst thing about DOL, is thinking what you're gonna bring. So I just kind of like, I got a plan. It'll roughly work, and I'll just swing it during the matches. Okay. So a lot of people learned from the past. When people don't bring their best tunes and they don't make out of the qualifiers. So people brought their best. So you've seen a lot of 80-0, like really high score, like Zubas said. But once you get to the semis, you kind of like lost your regular teams. And that's when the struggles happen. And to me, that kind of like, okay, I lost. Who did I lose? Aquaman, Poison, thing like that, right? So, but the worst board happened, and I managed to squeak through. I'm gonna say this. This is, I don't know if you guys will agree, but my assessment of the finals was, I got the easier board. There's a few kind of like scary ones, but for the most part, I had the better board than Josh. Josh has the better tunes. Just the tunes. I do have stronger tunes.
Yeah, you definitely have stronger tunes, right?
So if they were equal level, I would gladly trade my tunes with yours.
Yeah.
Because you planned very well. I give you that. You planned very well. You have the answers to most problems. There may be one or two situations where you don't have the best answers, but you have speed. I can outspeed you. You're gonna I can out tank you, because you kind of like planned this very well. I went into the finals like, oh shoot, what am I going to do? I lost. I know you're gonna ban Lex, and I was like, I
Yeah.
should have used him sooner. So I was like, crud, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna bring my RB5s and just see what happens. And then I told Josh, and you can say this. You just didn't believe me, but I told you that I did want you to win,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to ban any of your tunes, so you can go with your game plan. I told him that. I did tell you to do that. I'm not gonna give it to you. I'm still gonna play my best, but I want you to win. But Josh always doubts me. I don't know. I have the best of intentions. You know, you're my hero. Did not believe me, and he's like, okay, I'm thinking M4 is playing mind games. All right, I'm
100%.
gonna
Mhm.
hide the tune that I want because he's gonna sure ban Poison.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was your best plan because like Poison is broken, good S double, triple S tier good. So why would I take your best like game plan? So I said like, okay, let Josh have his best run ever. Okay, so and then I'll just try my best and see what happens. Lay it all on the floor and see what happens.
And you
But
won by one.
And
I squeaked.
that was
I squeaked.
the closest tournament edges we've had. The other ones had some good gaps in them. I believe Chosen, the first one was like 98-2, which is our best record in the finals. And then he beat Firewings by like, I think Firewings went like 85-15 or something like that. And then the last one, it was both M4 and Firewings both kind of putting up like similar scores. Theirs was very close.
Yeah.
And
So,
I think,
but
M4.
right.
Well, just to recap too for those that didn't watch it. Or the way that the final works is we have the competitors record their whole runs separately, and then we air them live side by side, and everybody gets to watch at the same time. They don't know each other's scores. The announcers don't know the scores. All of that kind of stuff. So M4, before the match, you knew your record, right? For the final
yes,
aired. Okay. So
I do.
when Josh lost his fifth tune, like what were
I
it was
already knew.
actually pretty
I
early
already knew
on.
pretty early, and this is the big all right. But before I get into that, I just wanna commend the host for their journalistic integrity. Like you could not sense any bias at all during that broadcast. Like they were so factual. It was just like you could not see like them favoring anyone. It's just like, all right, they're just calling it as it is. When I lost tooth, they were just like, oh, that is so shocking. I can't believe it. You could not sense any joy, even though their
It was
their
neutral.
alliance leader
I
was in
was
the tournament.
completely neutral.
Yes.
Now, the boy wore a Josh short. He clearly had his, he had his side that he was rooting for, but I was neutral. I was totally neutral.
Yeah, like I said, you guys were pros, like professionals. You just called it as it is. But anyway, so back to that point. So last what was it? Three months ago, I was the worst. I thought when I was playing, I was like, it was the worst experience, and it's over. And then I was watching, I was like, oh my God, why is my heart still like beating? It's like I don't know if I won because I did. I wouldn't say poorly, but not as good as I wanted to be.
Yeah, you both didn't do as good as you wanted to do.
Right.
Yes. So I had no idea. Everyone thought that was, M4 is cruising, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Just wait till you get to, and I try not to say anything so it's not spoiled. And that was really bad. But for this season, Josh lost early, 5 early, so I kind of like, finally I can watch in peace. I just try to keep quiet and see what the boy and Zubas says about me. And
You played it very cool in chat. Nobody really was led on. You kind of kept saying, just wait. So we all thought maybe something was coming. We didn't know exactly what. I will reveal this bit of information, which was, DuBois and I, we legitimately, we had no idea what was happening. We had not seen the video. We didn't know anybody's records. The most that we knew was before we went on, Josh told us that the lengths of the videos were about the same, but that could mean anything, that doesn't really reveal too much. So But Josh, because he didn't want to be biased, he didn't want any, to show anything. He didn't want to color the commentary too much or anything. He was like, I'm going to take a step back. And so it was just me, the boy, on commentary. But Josh was still the production manager because it was his stream. We had, he had to run everything, and we had Josh in our ears the whole time. And Josh was rooting very, very hard for certain things to happen. There were matches early on when it looked like M4 was going to lose Superman, and it was it was like a literal like devil or angel like on your shoulder. I have M4 in chat being like, oh no, and then Josh sitting there like, come on, die Superman, like all these things, just like rooting against him. And me and DuBois we tried to just play it as straight as possible and just pretend that there was like no voice coaching us in the background like this. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely, I recommend competing in it. It's a great tournament. We joke about it a lot, but there are a couple people that I think in earnest who have said, because of sort of all of the shenanigans in Siege with extra energy, or like we know that this month there's already been players who got credited for like winning
Handsome
a bunch
trophies.
of matches, like handsome trophies, that kind of thing. And then because Wraith, it's colored by the sort of 10.5 gear situation and not everybody being on the same playing field, that the Tournament of Legends is really like it's just a skill thing. I think it was Pingzo who was like the best players really rise to the top.
Yeah.
They advance. So I definitely recommend coming out for that. I will say this, we do have the champion here. Now, it's not that there's like a last place in the tournament. But if you were going to look at the qualifiers, and
Cosmic, can we get a graphic put up? Post
wait. I realized this a little bit ago, and before I'm gonna cut you off here, I was actually gonna point out how hilarious it is that M4 and Josh are right here, but if you flip it to the bottom, I'm right here and Zubaz is right here.
Okay, but there's a difference, Costly. At that point in time when I did my Tournament of Legends run, I was world's finest in Siege by and I was like, I was so stressed out about Siege. I was like, I am not going to be able to do both. I just can't. It is too much for one human to take. So I just tanked it. I ran through it and was just like, whatever happens here happens. Costly, what is your excuse for if you haven't gathered, if you're listening, lowest record?
Okay, so I had a really bad run.
You had a rough night that night.
But ask Josh, ask anybody else that was there. I had an extremely bad board.
You did.
Yeah,
like
I did.
I had a very bad board. I got like literally the worst team after the worst team after the worst team after the worst team. I never even got past my first board. So
okay,
but
I did actually make it past the first board, but it was not pretty.
And like I have a problem with TOL, in which I always take like I try to plan ahead too much, and I need to just get myself past the qualifiers. Like I don't bring the right tunes, and so I try to use like stuff that I know works. I'll play Wraith throughout the week, but I don't play a ton of Wraith, right? So it's like I typically, when Tournament Legends will happen, I'll take whatever like my team, or like, because there's always that like 5 characters you play with throughout the week for the most part. I'll take them and shove them into the roster and then pick 5 more normally that'll be useful. And like that's normally how I pick my roster, but I just need to approach it differently. But yeah, I had a very bad. But
I had to.
I was consoled by a lot of people telling me that I had the worst board they had seen.
So, it was a really rough board.
Hawkeye said that in my stream too. So maybe everybody was telling anybody who did poorly that. So there's 2 more things that I want to briefly touch on for the Tournament of Legends here, and then one actually helps us segue into our next topic. But number 1, in terms of new rules that we could be seeing in the future, one of them was, if you happen to get a bot board while you are running through? Like, are you required to refresh it, or what's the deal on that? And I'll mention it as a potential rule because it played a factor.
Reared its
M4's
ugly head.
final board in the
I
finals was a
foresaw
bot
that
board.
and warned someone and
He
didn't
did.
listen to
And
me.
M4 did. To everyone out there, if everyone out there says like, "Oh, M4 won because he got a bot board on the last one," that is completely false. M4, even if he didn't have a bot board, the nature of the tournament, M4 would have been smart enough to pick out 5-2. It would have been more exciting, but I still believe once you get past that third, your second board, you go to the final board, you have your best chance to go run perfect. And but M4 did warn me. He warned me. He brought it up before the tournament. He's like, you should make a rule about bot boards. And if anyone doesn't knows that, if anyone knows about how I made the tournament, I still want there to be an element of luck in it. Like I don't want someone to like say, oh, I matched up against M4 this week, I lost, or whatever. Like if they, doubt their skills, anything can happen. Anyone can get stuck on their first board or whatever, or you could get a bot board, and cruise through and put up a great score. Like anything can happen. I always wanted that element in there. So when M4 brought up the idea of like, you have to refresh if you get a bot board, I talked about it with the boy and Zubaz. I ran it over. I thought about it, and ultimately I decided no, bot boards are just gonna stay. If you get a bot board, congratulations, you got lucky. But man, oh man, I was kicking when I saw that board come up, I was pissed.
Yeah. And so M4, you think that it should be a rule that you should have to refresh or something like that?
Yes, I discussed that with Josh, and we talked about what is the fair one. Maybe not a full bot board, but if it's like 60% or something, you should refresh. So I did. But I want to clear something up, Sivas, before you go to your second point.
Sure.
During the commentary, I couldn't say anything because I don't want to spoil anything. You guys said you guys were completely wrong on that one, and I couldn't say anything. You guys said that I was saving the 30K team because it's easy, but I already knew it was trouble because I had no answer for Black Mask when I know I have to kill Spectre first or someone, and I'm using Superman, and Superman just does whatever he wants. I had no control over. I knew that Spectre and Black Mask combo could spell disaster, and god dang it, it did.
Yeah.
And Josh was probably jumping up and down.
Oh, they heard me.
He was screaming. He was absolutely screaming. Yeah, I mean, I
did not underestimate it. I knew it was trouble, and I gambled and I paid for it dearly.
That is literally the perfect segue, because my last topic on the Tournament of Legends, which also helps segue into our next topic, is what is potentially another M4 rule. We might have the M4 rule A and M4 rule B, but this tournament was unique for the first time. We had a wild card round. We wanted to expand the field of players that could play, but what that did was it pushed the tournament further into the month. It made the tournament longer. And the side effect of that, it's not the intent of this, but the side effect of that is it overlapped the finals, the week of the finals, with the same week that the reworks dropped for the next month. And so this month in particular, we had reworks to Nightwing, Superman, and Supergirl. And in that final board, Josh said, absolutely, M4, you cannot have Lex. That will just allow you to cruise to like 100-0. And M4 very controversially, as his replacement, picked Superman. Now, I will say, so Josh did kind of bring this up, and we agreed that we could not say for this tournament that wasn't allowed.
Right.
We couldn't make a rule on a spot like that. This would have to be something for future tournaments. And we knew it was a gamble. I think Josh and I both tried to maybe plant a couple seeds here with M4 by saying, hey, what if he's super bugged? Like, what if he doesn't work or stuff like that? But as it turned out, he did work. And he not only did he work, but he worked extremely well. So I'll add, I'll ask you both
I had
kind
no
of
idea
the
he's gonna be
same
that.
topic. Yeah, I mean, Josh, what are your thoughts? Like, is that something that's going to be changed in the future? Do you think?
I think 100% is going to be changed in the future. So look for that for the next turn of Legends. That the new tunes that get reworked, like you could only pick tunes that were finalized within that month. So I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. In case of multiple reworks or something or whatever. But yeah, so like Superman, Supergirl, Nightwing, they got reworked in the final week. That overlapped. In future, if tunes are reworked in the month, they will be ineligible for the your roster. Is that they'll be not banned tunes, just ineligible tunes. The ban is a more harsh word, but there's ineligible tunes because it's not so much that we just want to restrict the list. I just don't want a tune to come out that could just be so overpowered or so bugged that they're incapable of being used, or maybe they're so bugged in a way that they're vastly overpowered, like a la Dr. Poison before she got kind of tweaked a little bit, where there's something about them that just makes it like an unfair advantage. Either way, I don't want someone to bring a tune in and then they play and it's so bugged that they can't do anything or whatever, or like the Dead Man thing. Remember when Dead Man came out who was bugged? It just closes the match, like the game crashes or something. Like these are things that can happen. We want to avoid that happening in the finals. So yeah, that's for sure.
So the one thing I do want to say to that real quick, just because I'm like 90% sure I know what your answer is going to be, and I'm going to agree with your answer, but I'm just going to ask you this here now because that way you don't get it 50 million times in chat, and I mean you still will, but how in the realm of that is that fair that then they're also going to face the rework tunes but they can't use the rework tunes?
Yeah, that's part of it.
That's part of the finals. Like you get that's again an unintended side effect of the wild card round. I didn't even think about it.
I mean, in the same way, like what I was figuring your answer was going to be is like you can't use Spectre and you got to face Spectre.
Yeah.
So it's like it's in the same way, but it's like I totally agree, and I actually support like your decision with that. I'm just saying you're going to get that question, so I figured we'd throw it on the podcast.
It's just going to make it another extra layer, because I know some people are saying like, oh, it should be more challenging, and I think those people are kind of underestimating already the challenges that are already there when creating your roster.
It is
playing.
I mean, getting out of the qualifiers is hard, right?
It is hard. I think it's hard. Like it's tough. It's tough to go out of the qualifiers, out of the quarters, out of the semi, out of the wild card. Like every round, it gets harder and harder for you with your rosters. And so, to me, the finals are challenging enough, and that's gonna be what you like. That's just gonna be another layer of difficulty where going to the finals, you're gonna have maybe a day to try and practice against those tunes and figure out how to play against them. It's you don't know, like you just don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah,
I guess.
Josh, I have a question.
Okay, sorry, I was going to say M4. Here's kind of the $1 million question, I guess, though, which is we had the announcement that there would be the surprise Superman rework several days before the Tournament of Legends finals and everything began. But we did not see the kits. The kits did not get posted until Wednesday of that week. And so everybody who saw it happened live on Josh's stream, where both Josh and M4 presented their rosters and then banned or didn't ban a tune. And so you picked Superman completely sight unseen with his kit. What were you thinking? Like, where did that come from? Why did you think Superman was going to be the way to go?
Oh, I did not know. The reason I picked that because out of the just spur of the moment, I keep, like I said earlier, I wanted Josh to win. Okay, I do not mind losing to the better player. Okay, and this is his tournament, his first time out of the qualifiers. I mean, it's a big moment for Josh, and I said like he's my hero, so I'm supporting him. And
everyone hears this, right?
My main plan was like riding Enchantress. I'm going to prove certain someone that I actually know how to use Enchantress. That was my plan.
Debatable,
and you've seen me use her to great success during that last
time. You didn't lose a single turn when you used her
often.
Yes, and I wasn't struggling. I know how to use her properly. There is very little luck involved, even without the DI.
Mhm.
I can pull out the win. So, okay, if Superman, because all right, a little bit of a reason I chose Superman is because on the Reddit verse server, Doom was hyping like, "You're gonna love Superman. You're gonna, all right, fine. I'm gonna love Superman. You know what? He could be bugged. He could be great. Ah, what the heck? If I lose to Josh.
Mhm.
So it's okay."
Yeah. Okay.
And turns out he's amazing. He
Yeah.
was actually beyond amazing when he came out. I was like, oh my god, he can stun anyone. We did that on my stream where we're trying to figure out the bugs. I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna cruise through everything because I can punch anyone and they would just be stunned. I'm sorry, Josh, but it's not my fault. And
Feels
stupid
like your
me
fault,
did
huh?
not. Yeah, and stupid me did not play right away.
Yeah.
So it
He was
was
right. So what M4 is referring to is when Superman initially came out, he was stunning through debuff immunity
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. And M4 did not play his final round while that bug was still in place. So
I played
that
my
made
round
it.
while that bug was in place, and
Right.
that affected me because I had debuff. I had debuff. I mean, I got stunned, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
yeah. Yeah. And it was the interesting thing too. So I would say Superman was the critical tune in the finals for two reasons. For Josh, all 5 of his lost
Mhm.
points were from Superman kills. And for M4, the only reason he lost tunes was because Superman was out of control. I had that same exact problem during the King Shark siege, which was that was the siege with Spectre, and I made kind of the mistake, but also I rebirthed my King Shark kind of very early, and he was just murdering everybody. Like, and you can't control it because it's a random attack after the end of every turn, and that would sometimes trigger Spectre when I didn't want it to. And that's exactly what happened to M4 with Superman. Superman started killing, and then he had Black Mask and Spectre to deal with, and M4 lost control of the match. So the only reason that either player lost a tune was because of Superman.
True.
So that being said, that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which is the reworked tunes. Why don't we just talk about
And like you
Superman,
said
right?
in that siege where you took King Shark early, you had him rebirth high. You know, it was good for you to take a nice high rebirth tune. And same thing, like I don't know how to transition to this. Costly has a
You trying to
rebirth
do the
5
Nightwing
Nightwing.
thing again? Oh my god. No, I don't have a Rebirth 5 Nightwing. I have a Rebirth 2 Nightwing.
I couldn't figure out a transition to it.
Okay, all right. Everybody else on this podcast was the perpetuator of the Huntress Rebirth 5 rumor. Okay, so we're gonna nip this one in the bud right here. I have a Rebirth 2 Nightwing, not a Rebirth 5 Nightwing.
That's not what I heard.
He will be Rebirth 3 when his sale comes around, or possibly at the end of this Wraith week. And if he gets the event, he'll be Rebirth 5. If not, he won't be Rebirth 5 until I can buy a lot of shards.
Mhm.
So
Well, I mean, we'll just talk about him real quick in order. Since we're talking about him, Nightwing. Let's go to you, Costly. You've been kind of on the sidelines for a little bit here. So Nightwing, he's your guy. You know, you love Nightwing. Have him RB5, I think. What are your thoughts on the new Nightwing?
so Nightwing is great. I have him Rebirth 2 right now. Currently, I am
Can
absolutely
we edit
loving
that
him.
in post to say 5?
Yes, we can edit
I'm the editor. You can't
Every-
give me this.
Every time he says 2, it's just gonna be
5.
I have him RB5.
So I'm absolutely loving him. This is he got one of those reworks where he went like literally from 0 to hero. Like a Spectre style rework, a Lex style rework, where it's just like he went from the bottom of the list to arguably the top. I think he has a strong argument for being like, not that we believe in tier lists around here, but like high A to S tier. Once he gets fixed. So there is just a disclaimer here, because it seems to be like a lot of people don't know about these bugs. Nightwing is bugged. it is hard to see because of everything that's going on. Nobody really notices it right at first because you just expect the match to work the way it's supposed to. But if you pay attention and you're going against like a Martian Manhunter team, any team that you're slower than, you don't get the invisibility team wide from Nightwing until the beginning of your first allied turn. So, meaning to explain that further, anybody on your team gets their turn first. So, whoever the fastest tune on your team is, you don't get invisibility till that one takes a turn. Now, what that'll do is say if there's a black flash on the other team and he resets your team, you are wide open to whatever wants to hit you on the other side. So, and the problem with that is Nightwing does work with certain taunters, but for the most part, you want him to be your de facto taunter. So he doesn't really. I'm not getting my full use out of him yet because I want to run him with like some more glass cannon types or utility characters that just get wrecked really fast off the bat if they don't have a taunter to hide behind. And right now, with the bug, it's hard to get him there. But even with him being bugged like that, he is still absolutely amazing. They took. I was afraid they were going to take what I thought was actually decent about Nightwing and take that away and make something new. And all they did was take what he already did and made it so much better. He's always had what I felt to be a decent blueprint for a kid. He's had a lot of out of turn attacks. His chances got turned up like more than double, triple almost. Actually, yeah, no, it literally wasn't it like 20% before, so it's like over triple.
I've never looked at Nightwing's kit before.
Yeah, and then so some of the stuff they changed, he doesn't give out evasions to the assisting teammates on his 3 anymore. Now he gives out awarenesses. That is also bugged. The reason why that one's also hard to spot is because now he gives out so much awareness that it's hard to realize that he didn't give out the awareness to the assisting teammates and just to some random person. And then on top of that, he has a stun that can't miss and is a Kilowog style primary target stun, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And then he does his basics so many times and it just spreads so many buffs. I didn't realize when I first had read the kit, when I first read the kit, I was like, oh, he's just going to give invisibility to the other 3 teammates. He gives 1 to 3 invisibilities to every other teammate. So he starts stacking invisibility. And I did see that some people, just to clear up a little bit further, because there's a lot of especially when characters get reworked in this way and their kits become so dense and their skills have so much text in them, a lot of people get confused on what is happening. I did see some people talking about, and I even believed it for a little bit when I had seen this, about him possibly being bugged because he was doing his own basic after his own turn and he wasn't invisible. So the way that was explained to me is the chance for him to do his basic is based off of allies being invisible. And so it's on his turn, but his allies are invisible. So that's how it happens. So it is working as intended from what I understand. But overall, because I've been talking a whole lot here, he is absolutely amazing. I'm loving him. He's going to go Rebirth 5 as soon as I can get him there. And
yesterday.
And
I thought he was Rework 5 already.
He is. That's what we were hearing.
And,
that's what I heard.
Yeah. And I love that he works so well with a lot of characters that I just absolutely love. They did an interesting way of making him a useful tune to use for the entire roster, but he synergizes very specifically well with Bat Family characters. And that's
I just need to point out, Costly, that I don't think his text is confusing. I think it's your stream title that's confusing.
Oh my gosh.
I have a question. Because I'm finding him in Siege, and he's ridiculous. Nightwing is such an amazing leader now, but I feel like the only way to really fight Nightwing now is to bring characters that do AoEs, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get to the other characters, because like you said, he becomes like a de facto taunter. If everyone's invisible and he's the only one that's not, he's the only one you can attack. And he has so many evasion ups, and even if you do hit him, he has an awareness there, and he has so many awarenesses. So I feel like the only way to fight a Nightwing team is to bring all AoE people. Is that the vibe you guys are getting as well?
There's two basically ways to do it, which
Mhm.
is one, just take care of him early.
Right.
You know, just make sure that he never gets going, and then you can kill the rest. Or, like you said with AoEs, but in particular, there is one AoE in the game that helps immensely, and that is Batman World's Greatest Detective, because his AoE clears all buffs of anyone who's invisible.
Ooh,
All of Nightwing's allies are invisible.
Who knew that?
I thought you were going to say something. There's someone even better. She doesn't erase buffs. She erases HP, like all of them.
Oh yeah, it's Dr. Poison.
Oh, Dr. Poison.
Yeah, that worked.
All right.
I was using that on Siege the first day. I said Dr. Poison +3 and it worked, except the one time it didn't because Deadman had death immunity.
And Josh, there's multiple ways to deal with Nightwing.
Yeah.
You can there's two side. You can use Riddler or Cosley's favorite. What's her name? Spoiler. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be,
which is why World's Greatest Detective works really well too, because if he's not clearing all buffs with invisibility, he also gives true sight to your entire team.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to be wondering, like, how do I fight this guy? And that's why I was kind of really wanted to ask that, because I totally forgot that World Greatest Detective does the buffs, and then you're right, Dr. Poison is still viable. Even though I used her, I already forgot about it. You know, like it's there. There's
I'd be
ways.
willing to bet that one of the side effects of the reason why people are feeling that, because you do see it around, like on some of the forums and some of the Discord servers, a lot of people being like, how do you deal with this? And it's just like, you just go back to like the things we've always dealt with evasion characters with, or like high buff characters. You just go back to that. And that's the cool thing about Nightwing, is it makes him very fun to use, and he's very usable, but he already has a bunch of counters in the game built in. It's not like we got like a Spectre again, you know what I mean, where it's like how do I deal with this? It's like, no, we got this out here. And I think a lot of this is just, we're so used to, like, when Lex got reworked, it was like, whoa, this is like something the game's never seen before, you know. Same thing with Spectre. And so it's like with Nightwing, everybody's kind of expecting the same thing, and it's like, no, hold on, just step back for a second and realize that, like, you got plenty of options already, you know. And like, you got Dr. Poison, you got World's Greatest Detective. Cyborg Superman is great for taking out Nightwing by himself. In this particular siege, I will say some characters that are fun to pair Nightwing with. Not only Bat Family characters like Spoiler and Robin and Red Robin. Cassandra's fun as well, but Impulse is fun to put with, because he can throw out some hit chance downs. So anybody who might be wanting to bring a Nightwing team against, say, like a World's Greatest Detective team, that is actually a way you can do it. Start bringing hit chance downs.
We need the speed meta back, is what we need. I think is what you're.
No.
Arsenal is also really good with Nightwing. Arsenal, who like nobody ever uses. He all of a sudden becomes very, very viable under Nightwing, which is cool.
And also, for anybody who's having
off lead, which is a lot of fun.
It's great. Get her some strength ups, and she starts smacking people real hard.
Did you say Batgirl off lead?
Yeah,
Batgirl off lead, because think about it. Every time somebody misses Nightwing, she still heals. That's not her leader skill. That is her passive skill.
And she counterattacks.
Yeah, and then she does her counter, and she gives your team crit immunity, and it's pretty cool.
There it is.
I think the heal is leader, but it's like,
Josh, it's fun.
No, I'm gonna correct that. The heal is from her leadership.
Heal is?
But
okay.
I'm pretty sure the heal.
But she does counterattack and purge. Yeah. Another good tune is Scarecrow. So anyone that actually retaliates and miss is gonna be good under Nightwing.
As well as Batman Beyond, because Batman Beyond needs invisibility to start stacking crit chance ups. And if he's invisible, he does like way more damage versus the hit chance downs on his 3. And so he stays always invisible. So there's a lot of, like, it's opened up a lot of areas of the game again. But the enjoyable thing is it has its counters built into the game already. This is something that WB needs to look forward to doing more when they rework characters, is find niches in the game that you can bring people in to make them usable and make other characters usable, but don't just make Spectre.
Right.
And then
that is the perfect segue, actually, is in terms of niches. Is we had a niche prior 2 months ago. We had a niche, which was how do we deal with all these crazy crit tunes? You know, everybody's critting, it's killing people one shots too easy. They gave us Aquaman, who just eliminated all crits, and then they had the challenge of giving us a Supergirl rework. But it seems like even with Aquaman that she's still relevant. I'm gonna throw this one to Josh because you voted for Supergirl as a tune to get the rework. So what are your thoughts on the new Supergirl?
I'm really liking her a lot so far. Like, I remember when she first came out. She was one of, again, I told this story before. She was one of the first tunes I ever like said I need to buy money to get gems so I can get more shards of this character. And she was one of my favorite New 52 characters. When she came out, I was very disappointed with her, especially her AOE, her laser eyes. It hit so soft, and we found out later that she was a great leader and there's other advantages. But I was really disappointed with her attacks. I like hitting hard. Now her AOE hits hard. It hits really hard, and I'm very excited about that. I like that the way they did the crit things. It's like, yeah, you know, Aquaman eliminates crits, but Supergirl, you can do it, but it's basically, you know, you almost want them to crit. Like, with Aquaman, they don't get to crit. With Supergirl, you want them to crit because when they do crit, you then get no damage, and it's great. Because with Aquaman, they just can't crit, but they can still do damage to you. With Supergirl, if they crit, no damage. So it's a nice spin on that. I love the turn. I love tunes that do turn meter manipulation. She does it, and she does it passively out of turn, which is great. Like, she is such a good character now. Like, this is the Supergirl I've been waiting for, and I wish I could take her higher RB because God, man, I just love tunes that hit hard, and man, she hits hard.
Yeah. We do have one more, and since he is kind of like the master of Superman and has very controversially coasted with Superman through the finals of the Tournament of Legends, I'll throw it to you, M4. What do you think about Superman?
Okay. I'm not gonna get into how good he is. I mean, if you watch the TOL, you know how good he is on offense and defense. I am going to talk about the controversy around the rework because not everyone is happy about Superman. So for 99% of the population, I'm gonna say this, I am included. I love the rework because I never cared for the Superman that just stands there and annoys the heck out of you and just makes the match either a stalemate or just unnecessarily long. However, there are quite a few Superman fans that took him RB5 because they love how it reflects Superman in the comics or lore where he protects your team. So a lot of people like, why are you so upset? He's great. Well, my analogy was that I had a Hummer. I love my Hummer. And then the next day, I just got a Lamborghini in the garage that I never asked for. Like, why are you complaining? You got a Lamborghini. It's fast. I want to go fast. I want my Hummer. I love it. Right? So for those people that like, why are you so upset? Well, that's that. They love the character and they gave us something else. But I am happy with what I got. Got me a tournament victory over my hero. So I'm happy with the Superman rework. I think I'm going to say something that might not be popular. I think he's the better Arcus. He's the better two-punch.
Okay, that's it. All right, let's go ahead and M4 is done. All right, M4 has been muted, so let's just go ahead and move on. I'm just kidding.
You know what? I do want to say real quick because just on this point, it is something I wanted to bring up when we got to Superman. I think all of us enjoy the rework, right? I think
yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
he's great.
Never used Superman once in my entire life.
Anybody,
year 3 for me.
Okay, so does anybody else have like? I have an opinion on it, but do you guys have any opinions on like the whole controversy around it?
I'll say quickly that I agree with the sentiment that they could have just given us a different Superman. Like they could have given us an additional one and avoided a lot of this. But I don't understand anybody who is unhappy with the rework because he's so good.
Yeah,
that's kind of my thought.
I felt like what I'm hearing about the complaints I saw a little bit on Reddit was that he's not a tank anymore, and I get he's not the same style of tank as he was, but I still feel he's extremely tanky. Like he gets
Yeah.
damage immunity and he's taunting.
Oh,
Death
I
immunity.
have a theory
And
on
death
that.
immunity. Like how much more tanky? Like only the greatest characters get taunt and death immunity at the same time, like Arcus or something like that. That the real, the multiple trick ponies out there, the ponies that can do
Bleeze is taunt and death immunity, right?
No,
Only the greatest characters.
No, we don't say that.
So they are killing the mixed tank, the mixed gear sets. I think that's what's happening.
I agree.
So Soups was great because he can tank against physical and special damage. Another one that had that gear set was Aquaman, and lo and behold, he got changed into a physical tank. The last remaining, if I'm not mistaken, is Hal Jordan and Penguin. That gear set is good because it also gives you the highest speed modifier, because Penguin doesn't make sense. Why the heck is he fast? His base speed is low, but it has a 47 modifier. So even the mix supports they're kind of like a dying breed, and I think that's what WB is gearing towards. You're either
mistaken, I think Bizarro they still have as a mixed tank too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
Shazam.
So...
If the DCL toolkit.
Oh, that's true. Shazam too.
DCLtoolkit.com. If that is still correct, then those are still in play. But I agree that I think that they are phasing it out, and they've definitely been killing the mixed support. There's only 3 of those left. So once they start going, I think you're right. I think they're trying to get rid of those.
So real quick, my 2 cents on the controversy and everything. I think Superman's much better than he was. I think this Superman being reworked, I think, is also a consequence of people saying that Superman wasn't good beforehand. Because his last rework was good and people complained about it.
Yeah.
And so I think like literally, and I know most of the people that like got super affected by this rework and are not happy with it. And I get where they're coming from. And it's like, and I know they definitely were not the people that were complaining about Superman, obviously, beforehand. And it's unfortunate what has happened here. I am almost never in the camp of duplicate characters because there are so many more characters, DC characters, that still need to get put into the game that I don't really want to waste time getting Superman specifically just because he's like Superman 1,000,000, or he's like Injustice Superman, or he's like, they're all that could be a skin. Like it's
we need more Superman skins, right?
But it's like, but the reason, because Superman has so many incarnations, so does a lot of characters. It's kind of weird how many times they've done Superman skins, but it's at the same time, it's like I would almost rather see a skin and then different characters get put in than another character. But I think this is the one time where I would have been accepting of a second Superman, because it would make sense in the same way that if you look at the Wonder Womans in the game and the Batmans in the game, they're all unique to each other. None of them do the same thing. Like none of them are the same character. The Pot like is a debuff, or she keeps buffs off of the enemy team and keeps debuffs off of your team. Coda is just a
spelling. We M4 and I learned earlier today. It's not called cleansing, like you said from Raid Shadow Legends. It's called dispel. When you remove buffs from yourself, you dispel them. That is the DCL.
That sounds like that should be in a raid, and cleanse should be in. And cleanse is not in. I don't know if it's even a raid thing. I don't know if it is. But anyways, but it's like
actually
Coda,
in the WB document.
Yeah, WB dispel.
Wow. Okay, so Coda, and I mean Coda is just straight up. She's a striker. She's all the things that Coda is. DOJ is DOJ. And then World's Greatest Detective is more like he's more team based, like a team leader based.
Right,
whereas CC is a more striker. So it's like it would make sense for us to get a tank Superman and then a striker Superman. So I do see where the people are coming from on that, and I do agree with that.
I do agree with you though, Costly. Like I would instead of getting duplicate characters, I would much rather just have a different character. Like you said, the DC. There's so many heroes and villains out there that should be in the game, and when they keep trotting out the same character, like another version of it, it's like, how many characters?
It could have been
have doubles?
Superboy Prime. He's right there. It would have been
How many
perfect
characters we
for him.
have? Batman has duplicates. Wonder Woman.
Right.
Kyle Rayner now.
Yep.
Aquaman.
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. Aquaman.
I would push back on the Kyle one a little bit though, because the other one's Parallax. They did Kyle Parallax rather than Hal Parallax, but it's more or less supposed to be Parallax. You know what I mean?
Sinestro, Harley.
There's a few.
Joker.
Yeah.
Kyle's the first one in a long time though.
Yeah, but it's just I would again, like I'm right there with you. I would rather them not do any more duplicates ever. Just bring in new heroes, and you know.
So maybe we'll get a tanky Superman again with Superboy Prime when he finally gets put in the game or something. I think he would have made more sense to be the Striker versus Superman. But if you know anything about, if you've read Infinite Crisis and know anything about Superboy Prime, but even on top of that, my pushback to the people that would want Superman to go back to the way he was before is why in this meta. Because in this meta, all it takes is one person to die, and Spectre just wipes your Superman clean, and he's no longer a tank.
Are you trying to remind me?
So it's like, and that can still happen to today's Superman, and today's Superman is less likely to take the hit from Spectre, but today's Superman is more likely to take some people with him. So, and that's my only pushback on that. But I definitely understand. I feel for the people that are frustrated by it, because and that's also the other thing in this game. When you bring up a character or you decide to rebirth a character, everybody should know that. This should almost be a warning to everybody that there's no guarantee your character is staying in the way that you put them into.
Absolutely.
Like, especially if you go for Rebirth 5, and especially like for somebody like me who bought Spoiler like all in 1 month, or like the boys do with Raynor, and I did with Cassie, and like Hawkeye did with Hawkman, and all these other
Huntress
characters.
and Nightwing.
It's a gamble. You know going in it's a gamble.
Can't believe.
So it's like you have to
Huntress and Nightwing.
So you have to go in knowing that there's a possibility your character is going to get completely wiped off. Now, it is also one of those things to be said. The last time, I don't know, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I was going to say the last time they did this was Dr. Fate, but not really. The last time they did this was Lex, when they completely changed the character. Or Spectre.
The last time they did this was Blue Beetle, when they completely changed a character like that.
And nobody's complained about all those ones in the middle versus this.
Oh, right.
You know, so
because no one uses those characters, so they get changed. The people that complain are the people that actually use those tunes. So I'm unaffected because I didn't like the old soups. I like the new one. But if you happen to invest in the tune, of course you're going to be upset.
Yeah,
right? Sure. All right. Well, we'll segue into our final topic, which we were briefly discussing the idea of duplicate characters versus the idea of just giving them a new skin. And we made a joke about Superman having already in game what appears to be like 35 skins. But it turns out, as part of the 5th anniversary, Superman is going to get another skin. If you log in, I think tomorrow is if you've done all the days this week. Depending on when this airs, it might be tonight. But Superman is getting an all gold skin. They're not calling it Superman 1 million. They're just calling it the 5th anniversary gold skin. As M4 pointed out, it looks like the statue that they have of him in game. But we'll just kind of briefly touch on this. We're going to kind of leave it open-ended, because as of right now, all WB has announced for the 5th anniversary is we've got a week of login rewards that does include a free skin, which is pretty unusual. We've got a week of sales that they've been giving, which the sales have been decent. They're generally like 40 to 50% off of what the typical shard rate might be for these characters. And so far, that's it. No Chapter 9, no Gear 12. There has not yet been the announcement of an event or anything like that. So quickly, where are you guys at on the anniversary? Do you think it's enough? Do you think it's not enough? We had an offer wall this week that was 3 times instead of I know a lot of people were rooting for 5 times, which would have been cool. What
so
are
cool.
your guys' thoughts on the anniversary so far?
Real quick, I'll start off with the offer wall thing. I was expecting more of a 4 times than a 5 times because I thought 5 times was just a little bit too much.
I didn't think we were gonna get 5. Yeah.
And I think their answer here by getting us to 3 times is that they are telling us even 4 times last year was too much.
Yeah, probably.
Because
So
they
cool.
have they done 4 times again since last year?
No.
No. So it's like I think that's our answer as far as offer wall. I think 3x is now the limit we're ever gonna get because they do 2x's and stuff too. So it's like it's at least we got 3x. It's the higher up of the ones we get. So that's nice. Now further into that, like
3 is higher than 2. That's the costly analysis.
Yep. The
Matt checks out.
The login stuff, like honestly, it's a little disappointing that there's not like rebirth crystals on there or something because it's also one of those things where it's like the only thing that looks appealing to me on there, for at least for my account. I know I'm on the other end versus like what most people are in the game, but is Superman. The skin, that's all that really looks appealing, and everything else is like, cool, this would go in my stack of all of this I already have over here. Like in this.
Right.
So it's like
there is the idea. Nobody's 100% sure, but the text of like the notification seems to suggest that if you do all 7 days, that there's like something else at the end.
Yeah, that's
they said that.
Yeah.
So that could still be rebirth token. That could be something different.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know yet, but that's why I'm kind of leaving this open ended. Like we're very early in the month. It's only the first week of the month. They could still do an event. They could still do a lot of stuff here.
You have
Josh,
to log in all 7 days to unlock your 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
In chapter 9, you don't get it unless you unlocked all 7 days, and you gotta wait till next year to do it again if you missed it.
Josh, where are you at on the anniversary?
I think it's good. Like it's the 3x again. I didn't think we were gonna get 5. I thought 5 would have been way too crazy. I can't imagine 5. Like it would have been way too crazy. I thought maybe again, like I said, maybe 4, but 3 is fine. Again, we just got a tap joy not that long ago, and they're giving us another one. That's always great. Like that's a great. They don't have to do that, and I think it's a great that they did do that. And this is a great way to get gems. With the login rewards, I'm gonna pull them up right now. I'm trying to remember what they. Can you see them?
Yeah.
If you go,
I don't think I've logged in today. Let me look.
Okay, I found them. Yeah. So it's anniversary. You got the Speed Force. 30 Speed Force. That's whatever. 12 Hope rings or 12 Green Lantern rings. That's willpower. That's fine. 8 Hope. Everyone always wants Hope. And then the 4 Rage. Yeah. And then you have Superman with the skin, which is great. Like guys, this is a skin. Skins are usually $10 or top 500. That's free. Here you go. You have it. Yep. And it's cool. And Superman just got reworked, make them nice and shiny and gold. And then 1500 LE, like, come on, guys, like that's real little. But then there's 50 Bizarro. Like, again, they don't have to do any of this. They are doing it. It's nice. It's great. You don't like to, scoff at gifts and free things, but I am more looking towards potential new chapters. I think if there's ever a time to take off that coming soon monkey off their back, it is now the 5th year. This is a big deal, and it seems like they're doing it a little bit. They're doing it up more than the 4-year anniversary. I feel like it's more. I think 5 is bigger than 4. It's better. Like it's
our math on this
math is
amazing.
It's it seems like something more is coming. So again, I've always been saying I do believe more chapters are coming. I do believe Trigon showing up is going to and Necron becoming playable is going to be ending the current story. So I think more is coming. I am excited to see, like you said, that the text made it seem like something else is coming. So. But if nothing else comes, if nothing comes after this, I think I would be disappointed. I think I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very much so.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that well, first of all, I do think that more is coming. I don't know if it's as much as new chapters or anything like that. I do think that there's at least like an event or something coming. One of the reasons I say it is, you're talking about how it seems like they're doing it up more, which they are. I mean, at a very base level, like They've got these 5th anniversary logos on kind of everything. Their Twitter feed has been very active about promoting the 5th anniversary. So I do think that there is still more coming. Now, if it was just what we're getting this week, yeah, I think it would be fair to be a little disappointed in that. I think, there's so many options in terms of what they could do, and it seems, at least right now, that they're really not doing any of them.
Yeah.
So that's, they're throwing a free skin at us for, a new character, but as of right now, it doesn't even look like that character's on sale for this month, and so a lot of people may not have access to him necessarily, especially if you're a new player. So it's a little confusing, but again, I'm giving a sort of open-ended, let's wait and see, and then we can report back on this in December.
Yeah, I think more is coming. To what level is we'll see, because man, oh man, do I think new chapters are coming. I really do.
I got something to say, but I want M4 to say what he thinks first before
You have any thoughts on year 5 here as one of the OG players?
When do we usually get new features like Red Alert or Siege?
It's always been random.
They were random, I think, before.
Nightmare event came this month last year they called it the anniversary of it, and then
it
went away for a couple months. Yeah,
really new. What I'm talking about is like new UI elements, raids and Red Alert. What else? Those are the big ones.
The Void Scanner was new. Void Scanner was new.
Void Scanner. Yep. So I think something like that is that is. I think something like that is coming, not necessarily this month, because if I were them, I have a few things I would stretch them. So this month, I think we're gonna get something a little bit more, but not necessarily the new feature. Maybe it's an event similar to what we got last year, and then they'll finally change Nightmare with the K. So maybe more rewards, surprise things, but not the new feature. The new feature may come in December because anticipated there's no raids, or maybe January. I think it's coming. They changed the code for something. They can't just change it for no reason. There's something.
Yeah, the thing I will say here is the community is very ready and primed for something.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a mistake to not do something. Now, they're not going to be able to watch this podcast and be like, crap, let's throw together new chapters. You know what I mean? Like, it's either coming or it's not. Like, it's, and that's the thing. And I'm very much on the same page as Josh, is whereas, like, this would be the perfect month to do new chapters. Because it just makes way too much sense with Trigon being the raid boss. So it's like, as far as the story of the game's considered, like, he just showed up, and it's like, oh crap, now we recruit like Raynor and Necron, and like, because the whole story of the game has been like pulling them out of being phantoms from Necron into, like, that's when you recruit them. So it's like pulling Necron and Raynor into our teams makes sense for this new threat that just showed up, right? And it's like, it'd be a perfect time to bring in new chapters.
Wait, I don't
know when they would bring it in though, because like it should have been at the beginning of the month.
What did you think of?
What did you just think of?
So let's say you are right, and we're gonna switch the story from Blackest Night to Trigon. What are they going to do with the raids? They can't be just gray. What are they gonna look like if they're controlled by Trigon? Are they gonna be red? They would have like four eyes.
They could be as lazy and just still have them be grayed out, or they could literally, or you know what that update might have been, what they did, because like we talk about how everything looks better, they might have been preparing to literally just shut shadows off, like the red skins. You know what I mean?
Here's the other thing about the wraiths, though. All the current wraiths, a lot of people don't realize this, they are actually Black Lanterns.
Yeah,
so one of them is Arcus, one of them is Medphil, one of them is Tomar Ray. Like, they actually are lanterns. So I think if they have Trigon and they do demons, I think they're just going to come out with new looking characters.
It'd probably be a lot of the Teen Titans, I would imagine. And
the
eyes and everything, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot. There's literally like infinitely possibilities here, and it's just so far they haven't given us any of the infinite possibilities.
I think if if they don't do something, I mean, number one, like, people have been so hyped for this that even if they give us a bunch of stuff, if they don't give us new chapters in Gear 12, like, there's going to be people that are disappointed. And I can almost guarantee you we're not getting all of that. Right? Like, that's, I would love to get all that. I just don't think it's happening. Now, I would love to see new chapters, but if literally all they've given us, all that they've announced so far is all we get, they're gonna have like, Zubaz, I feel bad for you at the end of this month. There's gonna be a storm on Reddit, and it's gonna be
already in effect. So
yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Quick summary for everything we covered. We covered October Siege. I'm the best. We covered the Trigon raid, Doomsday, and the 1500 were the best, with the Owls winning some other thing. Tournament of Legends, M4 was the best. The reworks, they're all the best. The anniversary, WB, we hope you're the best. We want you to be the best. Yeah. So
this is the bestest, most bestest.
And this podcast, the Crime Alley Cast, the best. So,
I mean, that's kind of unfair to say because we're the only podcast out there. So,
as far as I know, I don't know of any others. I know that after their last tier list, I think WRLL closed up shop completely. Is that right, M4?
If they haven't, they should.
M4's muted right now. Let's see if he comes unmuted.
I am just a guest. I just make some bad opinions. It's not like the Crime Alley cast are all perfect. You have some bad takes in the past.
Hey, well, we've obviously got them. They're off the cast right now. Like, we've taken care of that.
Oh man. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Especially thank you to our guest M4 for sticking around, for keeping us all in check. It was wonderful to have you. You are welcome back, and you will not be invited back for the Tournament of Legends in January, because there will be a different winner that time. But we can get you on the stream for something else.
Wait, I thought Josh was changing all the rules to make sure I'm gonna
make sure it happens. But
there's gonna be several M4 driven rules.
No. I'm predicting an M4 Trinity crown with Tournament of Legends.
I do want to say a big congratulations to M4. Like, I said this I was all on the high when I got my 95.5. I was saying I was going to win. And then, like, after I came down from the high, I said, well, the window's open. But I said, if M4 beats me, if M4 beats my 95.5, M4, like, he beat me straight up. And he did. And congratulations again, M4. You played amazing.
I squeaked through.
But that's the how you do it. You don't gotta win by a lot. You just gotta win.
Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
Exactly.
You call Josh a world's finest squeaker or a top 10 squeaker, but
I'm a TOL squeaker.
I would never call you a TOL squeaker. I am for you. You beat me straight up, and I was very impressed. Even though I was upset watching you win every match after match, it was very impressive how you did it. You gear up the right tunes. You know how to pick them in. Again, big congratulations for that win.
I just brute force my way through, man. You give me too much credit.
Hey, it works.
Everyone was just saying, yeah, that's how RB5 worked. Booster kill.
Yeah. Oh, that booster was impressive. He just, So, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much. We will be back, hopefully within a couple weeks or so here. Hopefully next time we have DeBoy with us. We're not sure where he is. We'll track him down and
figure it out.
It's something like that.
We'll be doing a list episode next. I think last time we said we were doing a list episode next, and then we didn't. But we're gonna do our best to get another list episode out. We know a lot of people.
We do have a lantern month. We may be ranking lanterns. If we do rank lanterns, DeBoy is not invited, which would be just the best. So, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys so much, and check out our Discord. Check out our streams. Comment. Tell us what you want to see. If there's something you want ranked, let us know.
Yeah.
But other than that, Crime Alley Cast out. M4 would say.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Crime Alley Cast. Hit the like button, give us your rave reviews in the comments, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell for updates on future episodes. If seeing our dashing faces makes you self-conscious about your own patchy facial hair, check out the audio-only version, available on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Podbean. And don't forget to check us out live streaming DC Legends and other games throughout the week using the links below. See you next time, Gotham.